11th day of the 11th month and at the 11th hour in the year 1917, allegedly, I guess we got to use that word, Armistice Day was signed in the war to end all wars. And, well, we know that didn't happen. So this is a day where we honor veterans. And Mayor Ronny Walker's in the studio here at the Q, 94.1. I appreciate your time, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing well as well. This is going to be, I laugh, the 7th. Honoring our heroes celebration. Probably 1 year was off. I know it was virtual, but my gosh, golly, Ronny, 7 years?
Yeah, you know, I became mayor. First of all, thanks for doing this today. I became mayor in January of 2015. We didn't have anything that year, and I immediately that day went to James Austin and several of our leadership team and said, look, we need to do something. And I put James Austin in charge of it, and he's got a big committee. I know you've served on that committee every year. They do a great job. He does a great job. The committee does a great job of putting this together. You know, we couldn't be standing here talking today like we are. Mm-hmm. We couldn't have gone to the polls early voting like I did, or Tuesday. We couldn't have the prayer that we'll have at the opening ceremony. We couldn't have that gathering if it wasn't for the people who sacrificed their lives years ago and continue to sacrifice their lives for us so that we can enjoy these freedoms. So we just want to say thank you to everyone. If a veteran can't be there today, we say thank you from the city of Ruston, because, again, without you, this would not be possible.
You know, and it's before you got here, I had Cindy Penuel call. Her father is 99.
Wow.
Good state of mind, she says, but he can't get out. So it's Ralph Pinsley. Just want to say, you know, you don't say Happy Veterans Day to a veteran, do you? I mean, anyway, I don't know how to handle that. You know me.
I think the best, and you're the wordsmith, so you know it all. But I think the best thing we can say to, was his name Ralph?
Ralph, yes.
Ralph is just it seems simple, but from our heart, it is thank you.
Sure enough, sure enough. All right, so at 11 o'clock today, and yeah, let's. I know James Austin, veteran himself, doesn't want any kind of accolade, recognition, or anything, but if it wasn't for him, and yes, he is the point man that really facilitates all this to happen, so let's give him proper praise.
Absolutely.
But when you, let's say, delegated it to him, did you expect what we got when we got what we got all these years?
No, I really didn't. You know, I'm truly a person that doesn't micromanage stuff, so I gave it to him, and as you well know, I maybe have been to one or two meetings in 7 years. I leave that up to them. But I think the greatest, the first year when we had that flyover that just rattle the windows at Tech and all through the city, it just sends chills bumps over me just talking about it. When I walk down to Railroad Park, and I'm assuming it will be up to date, and that huge American flag, it sends chill bumps over me.
Sure, and another thing too, it is a very solemn ceremony honoring the veterans living, who they always honor, their buddies and sisters and comrades who have passed away. But even our guest speakers over the past 7 years, they walk away from here saying, this was, why don't you talk about, because these people who come to speak have traveled worldwide literally, and they're like, I know the city of Ruston, the spirit of Ruston impressed them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and the thing that I think impresses me year after year is I always see at least one, usually dozens of veterans with tears in their eyes. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, a lot of them, especially from like the Vietnam War, they didn't get that welcome home like you did in other wars. So, you know, to me, it's a small token. I wish we could do even more, but it's just a way for the city of Ruston to say thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your sacrifice, so that we can have this great city that we call home. It's just, every time I think about it, and think about not just the veterans, but their family members, you know, what they went through, even if they didn't lose a loved one, just the fact that, you know, mother and children were back in the United States enjoying these freedoms while their dad and father and husband are off fighting somewhere else.
Well,
And I'm sorry, I
Go
should have
right
said ladies too.
Sure enough.
Men and women of our armed forces.
You know, one of the things we can do, and give you a chance also to, promote the North Louisiana Military Museum. This would be a great opportunity to walk over there, if not today, tomorrow, because if it wasn't for the City of Ruston's initiatives to keep that precious jewel afloat, which, by the way, I've interviewed Ernie numerous times, that is a tourist destination that I said, hey, Ernie, how many continents and how many states have people come to the Northern Louisiana Military Museum? He says, Rick, I had to stop because I filled up the map of every state.
Yep.
I don't know if he got every continent, but he got like at least 4 of them. But that's an opportunity for folks to go there, and that's free.
If you have not been to the military museum, you need to go because it is a jewel. I had a man write me a letter. He was from Washington, D.C. He came through Ruston and stopped at the military museum, and he wrote me a letter. He writes articles for military magazines about museums. And the comment that stood out to me more than anything else, he said, no, yours is not the best building and the prettiest, but I have never seen a museum anywhere in the United States that has as much or as many artifacts as you have in this museum. And that's the reason when the state said, we're not going to fund it anymore, I immediately said to our city council, and city councils are the one that has all the votes. We've got to keep this. I mean, this is a jewel, and it is. And the amazing thing to me is if we had, I don't know, $10 million and could build a brand new building, we could fill it up too, because there's like 3 storage buildings of stuff that we can't even get in there yet. So we're looking for funds to try to build something new, and one day I hope we can do that because it is so important that we keep that history alive.
Ronny Walker, I'll see you this morning in a little over 2 hours at Railroad Park, 11 a.m. The weather will cooperate, and I know you're a busy man. Thank you so much for all that you do, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you for what you're doing here, and thank you for this station and Bill Brown and all that y'all do to get the word out to our folks.
Most welcome. Mayor Ronny Walker here on your home for country, real country that is, Q94.1.